Brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis. Welcome back home. We have a
Yes,
wonderful
sir.
title, The Four Agreements How Others Control Us. And
Yes.
this is right on point, brother. Here you are. I am a little disheveled from the yard work that I've been doing today, so I'm not presentable the way I like to be.
Yeah.
So I'm here, but we're going to focus on your visual and the wonderful shows that we've been doing. And I thought to myself today, I said, man, what a blessing. That first day that we connected and we did that first show,
What was
that
that? December 20th, 2020 or something like that?
2020, yeah, I got
Yeah.
to confirm the date. Now, there are a lot of shows that I don't have up on the new channel that I
Hmm.
have found on other platforms that I still have to upload, but
Okay.
all is not lost. And I
Oh,
just
that's
have to
good.
say, your stick-to-itiveness, your honesty, your generosity with your time, not just the time that you spend on the show, but the time that you take to document and to research and speaking from experience in a with a spirit of servitude, not in an arrogant spirit, but in a spirit of servitude and love for our people. And we
Hmm.
know that it's not easy dealing with our people. It can be a little rough
Right.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
year in and year out, week in and week out, brother, I have to commend you and I appreciate you and I appreciate your spirit. And you never let the knowledge that you have get to your head or make you arrogant or make you condescending on anybody. You take time to explain it and you're long suffering. Dealing with our people, we have to say it. We got to be long suffering because we have a
Hmm.
lot of spirits
Hmm.
out here and egos and
Hmm.
mentalities and stuff. So, like I said, it's always a pleasure and a joy. And for me to just be the plate to hold the meal that you are, I'm merely the platform. And I honor your brilliance, brother. And I look up to you every single day. And I can never say that enough.
Well, I thank you for the kind words, Brother Lance, as always. But this this union between us was already ordained long before
Yes.
we met each other. When you look back at our history, and
Yes.
you
Yes.
being from New York, Jamaica, Queens, and then
Queens.
Linda
Exactly.
being from there and me living there those years, it's not something that when you look at all the dots that connect, then
Yes.
we know this is supposed to come to fruition.
That's right.
But just thinking back on some of the shows that we've done, every time I've gotten to a point where I feel like, well, did I give my best? Did I? Because I always do the research,
Right.
so I can get prepared. Because a lot of times we sell our people short, and that's something I always keep in mind. Like,
Right.
if I'm going to present a topic that the creative spirit has given me, then it's up to me to make sure that I do everything I can to prepare in order to bring, whatever that message is. So it works both ways, man. You've been a blessing to my life, the family, and greetings to everybody under the sound of my voice. And
Likewise, brother.
as time go on, it's almost like it's not a chronological type of thing. It's like we're in a circular type
Yes. I know what you
motion.
mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's not something that passes where, okay, this is the past. It's a
Right.
forever feeling. The
Right.
energy that we share here on the platform when you come on, it's a forever place. There's no beginning, there's no
Yes.
end. It's just a being. It's just a place that many people would think in the physical about how things get old or whatever. No, this is beyond the
Mm-hmm.
physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a realm, it's a place that doesn't get old. We just get more advanced,
True.
but it's a forever feeling. And I know, like when you said about Jamaica, Queens, and that being one of the common places we've lived in, and thinking back, as active as I've been all over Queens, and I'm in the stores, I'm down the street, I'm here and there. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way that I have not passed you in the street, looked you in your eyes, or
Oh,
been in the
most definitely.
supermarket and we were in the checkout line together. Maybe we said something to each other in passing. There's some kind of connection that maybe we won't know until the next level, but I know it's
That's
there.
true. Oh,
Because
yeah, that's true.
yeah, you feel like home to me. You
Yeah,
are
me
my
too.
brother. You
Yeah.
see, I have a physical brother, And no, everybody knows it. He was always on some type of substance, which kept him from bonding with me. I mean, he's 11 years older than me, but that shouldn't matter. But you give me them feelings.
Oh yeah, and vice versa.
I love you like a brother, man. Be on.
Absolutely.
You're my family.
And that goes both ways. I mean, it's almost like the other thing too about that is there are very few people that you meet in life that you have a constant flow with. Because at some point you get to a point where I need to cut this person off. So,
right.
And, and no, I can't maintain this type of relationship with this individual because at some point it's just, and the things you were saying about me apply to you as well, because you get to a point where people get this narcissistic type attitude.
I've been through it, brother. I've told you some of the things I've been through.
Oh yeah.
So I know.
I know you have, just following you and the things you've done over the years too, brother. You've sacrificed a lot for our people, even to the point where you have to take these gut punches that we know you take. And so that's what makes us strong.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the show. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak the truth that has been given to me. But what you think about this topic today?
It's on point, and we got to understand that others do control us, manipulate us. And when you have to manipulate somebody, I'll say this briefly because I know you're going to cover these different things. When you have to manipulate somebody, that is not from a good place.
Right.
And see, manipulation is so subtle sometimes. Those of us who, I don't want to call us victims, but who are targeted by that, we don't notice it right away because, see, when you have a good spirit, you judge the world by the state of your own mind.
Exactly.
You see, when you're a good person,
that's true.
You say true and expect good things from people. See, but when you're a thief, you think the world is trying to steal from you.
Right.
When you're a gossip, you think somebody's talking about you. But when you're a good person with a good heart, you only expect good things reflected. So when you have a person who smiles with you, but they don't mean it, we take it as, well, they're a good person because we'll take it on surface value. We don't want to even think that, well, it might be more to it, but we have to think that way in this world because there's so much deception going on.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say deception is a big part of that too.
Yes. Thank you so much, Diane. She's in the room and she said we both have the same
Queen Diane.
Given energy, and that's why you're connecting, but that's only my opinion. But that's a fact though, Diane. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, thank you for those kind words. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Because you can see it anytime you can look on any platform or device, and whenever our people come together, there's always headbutts.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, you don't have to be the head nigga in charge every time we do something.
Let me tell you, Neil, it has been an infestation years ago up to the recent few years when I just had to clean house, man, when I found out what was really going on, and I'm sitting here busting my behind, making banners with a good heart, trying to promote people, whatever, and they're your biggest naysayers and enemies. You see?
That's
and
crazy.
I'm gonna tell you how it happened. I'm gonna tell you that's why so many ran off and never came back. I have a friend of mine. We'll start. I just want to say this for 30 seconds, 90 seconds. I have a buddy of mine who does the heavy lifting on my original website, which I'm about to take down and point toward Landscurve X.
Okay.
And he was always telling me, listen, man, he's got the power of a hacker, but he doesn't hack.
Okay.
So he said, listen, a lot of people, male and female around you are not in your corner. I said, oh man, I don't really think that. I think they're whatever. So he said, listen, I've been doing some detective work for you, brother, and you may not appreciate it, but I got to forward you some things that I found out about. So this guy has some hacker abilities, but he's a good guy, but he couldn't take it no more. And I couldn't believe the things that were said, the crosstalk, and even how people want to destroy your platform.
Oh, yeah.
They want to, oh, man. Here I am sitting here all these years. All these years, man. Right now, 25 years in a month. Come on, man. And I'm not you know, for the most part, I wasn't making any money. There was a narrow time when I started to make some money, and it went down right before I came from America to Ghana. I started making a little money, and it wasn't what these big YouTubers make. And what do I make now? I'll tell you, about maybe 150 bucks. I don't make no money for the
Yeah.
time that I spend every day, and I'm paying for programs. I pay
Right.
way more. I don't get anything back in return. When they took the old channel down, I wasn't making no money either. So
Yeah.
why are people so thinking, oh yeah, see, didn't I work hard all my life? Don't
Right.
I get a retirement check and Social Security right now?
Right.
Didn't I sell a house to get house money to build this house, me and Mrs. Scurv, and still working
Right.
on it?
Mm-hmm.
We're still pushing. So
Oh
how
yeah.
you think that I'm getting over? People send some little cash apps and little whatever. I don't get much of that no more. You never see me begging for that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
most people do on all their platforms. They got the Cash App up. You can't see nothing else. You see
now
the
I put it
Cash
up
App.
there.
Hit the Cash
I
App.
put it up there for people who want it, but you don't hear me doing the Umar Johnson.
Right.
Hit the cash app. Hit the cash app. Hit the.
And I used to die laughing when I see this guy, you know. But I guess, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But at the same time, too, that's something to take into consideration, the fact that all of the time and energy that you have to put into it is just straight out of love for our people. But somebody going to come back and stab you in the back. And I've seen this happen so many times. That's why people always say to me, well, Neil, where are your friends? Or what friends? You know, that word is not even in my thinking.
Right.
Because if you look at the type of associations we have, and as the years go on and time go on, you really find out, you know, who is really concerned. Like most of the philosophers say that nobody cares about you.
Right.
A lot of them
Right.
say that, right? Even Maya Angelou, she said that focus on yourself because nobody cares about you.
Hey,
So, but we're going to discuss some of that today, and why we the topic, yeah, again, the Four Agreements, a brilliant book. I read it years ago, and also how others control us, and in a lot of ways, it does dab. If you want to start out with your banner, Lance.
Yes.
I had some thoughts about it, but I'll let you lay it out for us.
Okay. Diane said, Brother Lance, you don't even ask for likes.
That's true.
if I ever do it, I did one time, like it because of what's in it to share with somebody else that they need it, but not even like, please like me, please like me.
Yeah,
You
like,
me, like me. If you don't, you
subscribe,
don't.
and share.
Exactly. Sometime on a video, that's the first thing they're telling you for the first 2 minutes. You know, but let me stick this banner up. And
Okay.
yeah, and I created it from the standpoint of the whole control thing.
Okay.
And I know the Four Agreements go deeper than that, but that's the kind of thing that I zeroed in on. And it was quite kind of simple. You have a man in the middle, and he has another man whispering something into his ear like it's a joke, but he's just trying to manipulate him. You have a woman on the side, and she's trying to use her female abilities to whisper something into his ear to control him. And if you look on the right side, right by her, there's a hand and a knife. You understand? That's not so noticeable, but that's what it is if you see it. And if you look, the two hands in front of him, they're pulling money out of his pocket. So everybody's whispering, you know, and that's why I had to put the words "who really" in the middle so it didn't overlap the money. So that's why I put "who really controls your mind," your name up top there. But we have so many forces around us, and I recently did something about that. And it's very important to see where these influences are going. But I'm a counterpuncher that way, meaning that I kind of sit back on the ropes and see what offensive aggressions are coming at me, and I'll do the necessary move to negate what they're trying to do. In life, that's what I do. I observe, I watch, and I have enough data and experience to know what they're trying to do and how they're coming. People can be good, but if you take your time and discern the spirit, you'll see the good ones from the deceptive ones, because there are good people out here, and I don't want to smash them thinking something too soon. You take your time. It reveals itself over time. And look at
And you
that,
know
brother.
something else that comes with this type of deception and all of this focus on you, it's not really the people that you think it is that's in, you know, in your where your awareness, rather, I should say. It's the people behind them
Right,
that
right.
want to get to you. I'll never forget someone told me one time, they told me some things. I said, well, how did you know that? And
Ah,
they mentioned the person's name. I was like, wow, I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, I wonder why they told you that.
right.
And they said, oh, well, you know, it wasn't nothing bad. It was just the fact that these are the things that I don't really think about. But at the same time, you know, it's going on.
Right.
And so the people that are in our direct line of fire, who we think is firing at us, many of them, oh, well, let's use our own people, for example. There are a lot of our own people who they put in our faces that we think they're on our side, not knowing that they're actually working for the enemy behind our back.
There you
And
go.
this happens to Black people so many. Well, it happens to people in general. It's just
Mm-hmm.
we live in such a degenerate culture now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something that really bothered me, brother, before we go into the other visuals. But when I saw something is happening with our young people, man. With the Houston, I think you did a video about the Houston rodeo. And then the one in Daytona Beach. It's just, I'm looking like, well, this looks really, really crazy. It makes us look bad, first of all. And then you're thinking, well, how does the parents allow, because our parents would have knocked our head off if they caught us in, you know, or if they heard about us doing some of the stuff I saw. And the one thing I will say about our young women is they need to get a grip with this dress code, because this is really, really bad. So I don't know if you got knocked off or not, Lance.
No, I'm here. I'm sitting
Oh,
here talking, and I had the button muted because I moved the mic and it was going to make a lot of noise. I'm sorry. I'm
okay,
still here.
okay.
I'm still here.
But yeah,
But yeah, if I happen to get knocked off, just keep talking. You're still on, and I'll come back through
okay,
the phone because it happened last
okay.
night when I
So
was on
yeah,
a little live.
and so I was just saying, it's kind of like a shot in the face. As much as Black people have had to fight to maintain our integrity, you
Yeah.
know, after being called all these different inhumane labels and stereotypes, and just to see our young people just don't give a damn about,
And
you know,
run right to the very thing that
yeah,
we had to defend and we had to exemplify the dignity in the face of being called these things. Now, many of the younger folks, and this is not an older person attacking just young people. There are some
right,
good
no,
young
not
people
at
who are
all.
on point, but this is what it is because this is what they soaked up in the media. This is what they soaked up from
Yep,
their peers.
yep.
And they run to this and they feel like it's a badge of honor. The lower they can bring themselves, the more they can degrade themselves and make themselves a parody, a mockery. And the enemy loves it because
Oh
it's
yeah, no
undoing
question.
everything that we've done.
Yeah. Oh, they love that. See,
Yeah.
we told you this is what they are, and this is how they act.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you can't do anything. Nobody wants them anywhere because. But I was glad they put up that dress code because somebody has to do something. And you know, just to finish this point is that we have to call these things out, because if we don't, then it just rubber stamps it.
Yeah.
But some of our young people have gone so far down that road that they feed. I watch them, and they feed off of this energy, this
Yeah.
negative energy,
Yeah.
not knowing that this is being used in order to justify sometimes unaliving us or
And
treating our women like they, you know, scum of the earth.
yeah. Well, see, it's been the seeds have been planted really and truly. I don't think, just to start it off, when the physical life ends and we transition, I don't think about the end. I think about transition.
Right.
Number one.
Yeah.
So time for me is, like we said earlier, it's not a time thing, linear time.
Right.
It's just the forever feeling and the place in existence where we are spiritually.
Yes.
I'm already made that ascension, even though I'm still in the physical. That being said, many of us who think this way and who know this way, we don't see how much time, for those who honor time, how much has passed.
Right.
See, this is 2026. And just to use the reference of 911, that was 25 years ago. But that was like yesterday to me.
Wow.
But that was 25 years ago. That being said, let's go back 30 years. Look at those who were born. Let's just pick a number. In 1996. And they came up, and now it's 2001, 2002. They're 7 years old, and MySpace is around. Cell phones. Then 2005, YouTube, Facebook. Then after that, they grew up from single-digit ages with all of the social media stimulation. The rap stuff has been out. The porn has been out on your fingertips.
Yeah.
And so on a lower level, most of us are going to gravitate toward the lower level while pretending to be upright. So we can pretend to be upright people, but when the rodeo comes, the chicks are going to strip off and show their backsides. See? So now you have the brothers out here who are trying to walk right, and the black woman is beautiful, right? But you're seeing this nudity and you're conflicted because, you know, I took a look at her backside, but, you know, she shouldn't be dressed like that. And I shouldn't be thinking this way. And then you have the lower level brothers who don't give a damn. They're going to call them bitchs and hoes and roll with it.
Oh, yeah.
And they got the money, so the girl's going to flash their backsides even more. So it's almost like, you know, when there's a story when Moses came back with the commandments and saw people carrying on.
Right.
That's us.
Yeah.
We're out of control.
Out of control. I mean, and in a lot of ways, you know, you can see how people are afraid. I mean, when you got that many kids running out of control and, you know, looking the way they are, and then the way they talk, and the things that they say, man, it's just, I had to turn it off because I was like, this is unreal. So that's why it's so important for us to continue to combat this with the energy that we bring, you know, our presence in our separate and collective efforts, because if not, hopefully, somehow, some way, this is one of the reasons why they shadow ban your channel as well, is because the positive messages, they don't want our children to hear.
No.
They don't want them to hear anything positive. They just want them to stay focused on fiat and on this ridiculous attention that they're in. So, brother, I want to start out with the one banner where it kind of breaks down. It's like it got circles where it breaks down the different aspects. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, yeah,
that one there. That's the one you wanted.
Yes, sir. So the first thing is when he was just to set the table on this, it's a brilliant book. Brilliant man, was raised in the Toltec tradition, where, you know, they have a lot of different spiritual knowledge and wisdom that has been lost through time. But again, when you have people that have the ability to conjure up these concepts, it's great. And the thing that he said that is so important about this particular concept, the four agreements, is that these are almost like contracts that we make with ourselves, or agreements that we make based on nothing else but what we have been indoctrinated with. Many times we have not even experienced a lot of the things that we have faith in or belief in or trust in. So we'll start out with the first one: be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity and say only what you mean. Avoid gossip and don't use words to harm others. And that's, pretty much self-explanatory. Like you were saying, how, you have people who shade at other people. Okay. And when we look at not just from an individual, first of all, our words are energy, right? Like the old adage, the power of life and death is in the tongue. But at the same time, why are so many people using this powerful energy we have to tear down others? That's something we have to really think about. Why in the same breath, I can tear somebody down and then turn right around and lift them up. But one of the things about integrity is that integrity has more to do with how you view yourself, not how anybody else views themselves, view you. It has to do, and immediately when you start talking to somebody, you immediately get that energy when they open their mouth.
Yep.
And you can tell not just from the vernacular, but you can tell from the type of mindset that they have. Now, sometimes, like we were saying in the beginning, a lot of people use deceptive means to do this. And when you really have to sit back and look and say, okay, I always look at the motivation behind something. People make mistakes, but very seldom are you going to say something that you didn't mean.
Right.
Okay. In some capacity. I mean, sometimes you might regret saying certain things, but the other thing about this spoken energy is once it's out there, you can't put it back in a bottle. So it becomes a means of attacking people, where we're given, and also it exposes your inner spirit. Because a person going back to one of the things we talked about in the law of germination, as within, so without, is that a good tree can't bear bad fruit, and a bad tree or a corrupt tree can't bear good fruit. So at some point, this is going to be exposed. So you know how when you hear certain things from certain people, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe he said that or she said that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, where did that come from? But these are things all lurking, beneath the surface that we have to fight daily to suppress. Because the other thing too is, and this happens a lot with our people, and they know this, and so they use this on us, is they use things to trigger us emotionally.
Yes.
Just like these words that's why I said, yeah, when they say something, then we should immediately use the direct opposite of. So when they're saying woke, yeah, we are woke. That's a good thing for us. But they want to use it in a way to kind of slander us. Or when they say, oh, they're low IQ, yeah, that's a good thing for us, because a butterfly and a caterpillar, you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people. So because they're low vibratory, their conception of what a high IQ person is based on that low vibration that they live in. The other interesting thing about that is they're always looking for ways to demean us. Just like they thought that, it amazes me how ignorant some of these people are. They thought that DEI meant that Black people were benefiting from some selection based on the fact that giving you some kind of break. And we talk about this all the time, even with you having or stolen or taken all of the things that you have, you still want to turn around and defame or degrade us. Why?
Right.
This says so much about you. But dealing with it from the perspective of our Blackness, we have to be very careful with how the things that we put out into the world now, because words are not just sounds. Okay, words actually create realities, right? Just
That's
like
right.
thoughts. So the words you speak, you don't even know it. Somebody that you didn't even know was listening to you could be listening.
Yeah.
And depending on the severity of the words you're using, can have a devastating impact on them. But, unfortunately, we live in a world today where people don't take other people's feelings into consideration. In fact, it's some type of badge of honor to make people feel bad. It's you see this
I
in
never
this
understood that.
What'd you say, Lance?
No, I said I never understood that.
It's so twisted. You see this in the celebrity world, and even with the so-called rappers with the beef and all this crazy stuff. It's like they don't get any satisfaction out of something unless there's some type of degrading terminology that they're using. And again, when you look back, again, all of this stems from the Willie Lynch training.
Yep.
A lot of it stems back to that, because I was in preparation for this. I was looking at, again, some of the slave narratives, and whenever they spoke to each other, but they had to do this because when you're living under the threat of death every day, like they did, or the threat of torture, that many of us, we get it in different ways, but again, it wasn't the same. That they knew that this might be the last time I get to tell you this. And so you better listen, you better pay attention, and not only that, you better act on it. Because if you don't, then there are going to be severe consequences. And so just to kind of wrap this up in terms of our people, when they look at something like you're saying, be impeccable with your word, that's something that's so far removed from their thinking and their mindset, because we have been trained, and we'll look at the areas where we've been indoctrinated, or the tools that were used to indoctrinate. I mean, all of us know what it is, mainly the church and this public education system or degradation system. But a lot of it too comes from our parents and adults. And this is where these agreements are made. They're made on a subconscious level. And he was referring to this spirit that's created inside of us from these agreements as the judge. And so human beings are the only ones where something you did 100 years ago can still be used against you. It's like you pay the price for this over and over again, hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times. And you do that because you're judging yourself by these agreements. And the problem that this creates is that the people that study us and control us know this. They know that these agreements that you have, these subconscious agreements, are based on things that they have indoctrinated us with, our value systems, our standards. So it's not a big stretch for them to put something out there that's going to get your feathers ruffled.
That's right.
And even, it's not even, there are some people that can use words to demean you in a nice way, make you look stupid or try to make you look stupid. You know, and they play this game with Black folks all of the time, where they're talking in this way as if we are beneath this. We're okay. Even if you have knowledge of this, you don't have the ability to carry this out. Yeah. So, you know, it affects us on so many levels, and you can just see the anger in our people when certain things are uploaded or when certain things are said. You know, some of it is justifiable, the anger, but then now, you know, like you says, when you react to something, it says more about you than it does the person that's putting it out there. And in fact, that's one of the agreements we're going to talk about. But as you can see here, I'm sure you guys can read this. I'm gonna go through it real quick where I have some notes written down. The second one, don't take anything personally, is very, very important. And that has to do with what we're talking about right now. That what others say and do is a reflection of their own reality, not yours. Okay. So it's crazy for you to let somebody else's reality affect your reality.
Right.
So taking things personally leads to unnecessary suffering. So a lot of the things that you know, our people suffer is because, you know, we take these things to heart. And so this one to me really jumps out at you, because just like when someone is using words to offend you, it also, the energy is reciprocal. So a lot of times that's why I don't even react to things. I just wait, because I don't want my emotions to define how I react to something.
Yes.
And I deliberately, and people ask me all the time, you know, some people even get angry with you. I deliberately don't answer or make decisions sometimes for months or weeks. And one of the things that people do is they always want to rush you to make decisions, because when you're rushing, again, you know, you're taking what this individual or individuals, in many cases now, particularly with the gang stalking and stuff like that, where you're taking this to heart and you're taking it personally because somebody, I'll give you an example. This guy that wanted me to get involved with him with some kind of partnership. He had been sending me emails for a long time, up until a year. And I guess finally he got frustrated. And I won't say on here, but he sent an email. I know just what type of person I'm dealing with. You know, and he went on a rant about, you know, what he thought the type of person I was. I said, no, actually, you're totally wrong, because all of the major projects for the Academy are in full swing. Now, just because you don't know that, or I haven't shared that with you,
right?
You know, you're attacking me. And another reason why they do that too is to make you feel inadequate. Okay, so once they can make you feel like, okay, I have to base my life on your terms, then they got you. So like the individual we were discussing earlier.
Yes.
So, you know, the world according to you doesn't work in my world. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how you come to came to the conclusions that you came to, but it has nothing to do with me. And so I watch a lot of how people control other people too, when they know that these type of things affect you. And so it might start out subtly, but it'll get to a point where if they don't get the right reaction from you, and this is what happens with YT people as well. It's very frustrating when Black people will sit back and don't react to the nonsense.
Right.
How they want to get us in the street to start martial law, and how they want to, you know, they're doing all these, because somebody must have told the individual who is, you know, the puppet government ahead of it. They must have told him, look, you got to do something, because he was throwing a lot of volleys at us in the beginning. He was like, you got to get something to get these Negroes upset, because our plan can't work unless we do that. Because they know somebody else can bring that energy where shit gonna get burnt down, tore up, you know, and so it's like when they get that kind of reaction from you, then they can justify putting forward their plan, their war plan.
Yes.
And you know, their weapons are pointed right at us. So if anything, this is a message to our people today that don't take anything personally, because none of what is being said is based on truth. They're all based on lies. So if someone can manipulate you straight up with lies, why do they have to tell you the truth? If you know, that's the way they look at it. That's how wicked people think. Like, well, if I can get what I want from you without telling you an ounce of truth, then why should I?
Right.
And so I don't know how that's going to play out with our people, because we do take a lot of things personally. Anything that any people say from any culture, it's like game on.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, even if it don't even have to sound like they say it's attacking Black folks. If they're saying something that that we think that they're making some kind of inference to us, oh, we coming out.
Like we're looking for it.
Huh?
Like we're looking for it.
Oh yeah, we're looking for it. Oh, for real? You mean me? Oh, okay.
You can sneeze and somebody can say bless you. What you mean bless you? Why you say bless you like that? You know what I mean? We wouldn't say bless you to a white person like that. Why you say it to me? Because I'm Black.
Exactly. You know, and so it's easy to, I hate to say it, brother, it's easy to control us simply with these little boy, little girl games that they play and behind closed doors, because a lot of them are actually admitting this now, that a lot of these things that they do is for the express purpose of getting a negative reaction from Black folks so that they can justify to continue doing the inhumane things that they do. But yeah, I mean, if you want to suffer, then all you got to do is turn on any one of these devices and you get some pain and suffering, because they're going to directly attack you in so many different ways. If they don't do it through your children, oh, look at those savages out there, you know, because at the end of the day, Black people, us having, you know, this spiritual connection with nature and the real creator-creatrix spirit, we take in the energy of things, regardless of what it is. But at the same time, a lot of times we have problems in how we work with this energy that we get. You know, our first inclination is we want to strike out. We want to hit back. I'm going to make you feel what you're making me feel. Even if you're talking to another person and they're not talking about you directly. You know how sometimes, I know people used to say they get this in church where you feel like the preacher is preaching to you.
Yeah.
You say, you know, even I've been in conversation where people, I've been around people where somebody could be talking totally about another person, but now all of a sudden they're looking at this person swelling up because it hits home. You know, it's like, okay, they must be talking about me because this is the way I think, or this is something I've done, and somehow they found out about it. You know, it's just crazy. The third one, don't make assumptions. You know, we often create problems just by assuming things, just like what I was just saying, instead of asking questions and communicating with a person. You know, clarity can solve a lot of things. Because if you got 10 people sitting in a circle and you whisper a phrase to the first person, by the time it goes around that circle and come back, it's totally twisted. It's totally different from what the original statement was. And the reason for that is all of us make assumptions based on this inner judge and these agreements that we have made. Okay, and these agreements are so deep that a lot of people, they have a real issue trying to change. Because all you got to do, again, nature's our greatest teacher. The sun rises and sets every day. So what does that tell you? Every day, you know, you have to think new things have to arise because eventually they're going to set.
That's right.
And so if you're holding on to the same things, that same sun from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then you're missing all the new suns that have came after that. All of those days and years of that sunshine that you'll miss because you got an inner judge and you're making assumptions based on things that you haven't even discussed with anybody about. Oh, that ninja talking about me. Or he talking about my woman. Oh no, he talking about my man. You know, oh, how do you know that? You don't. So again, this is an area that they get us in the fact that we one of the reasons is because we know they don't have our best interests at heart. So that kind of causes this in a sense. So a lot of times we have to prejudge things or get ahead of the curve because we know if we wait too long, then eventually that volleyball is that they hit at us is going to hit you in the head if you don't you know make the right interpretation of something. So I know whenever I you know, we all make assumptions, okay, but then you have to do something about the assumption. This is why people get falsely accused of things, you know, because you're making an assumption based on something that is not factual. And one thing I never do, brother, I'll never forget, I lost somebody very close to me because they accused me of taking sides. I said, I don't take sides.
Right.
Oh, well, let me preference that. I take sides with the truth. So if what you did to this individual was wrong, I'm not going to sit here and agree with that. And see, this is another thing too, where you have groups of people knowing that this, whatever it is that they're doing or believing in or saying or acting is wrong. But because it's somebody that you want to save face with, you know, you're going to go against, in many cases, your own self. Because all of us know deep down inside, you know when something is right or wrong.
That's right.
You don't need nobody to tell you that. But again, because of the type of society we live in, we make these assumptions because we know that most people, their actions are geared towards either getting something from us, okay, or getting some type of upper hand on us, or for whatever twisted reason, they want to feel like they're above you. So they're going to have to do something in order to bring that into manifestation. So when you make assumptions, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. Because the best thing to do is just to go ask the person, hey man, was you talking about me? When you just said, was you talking about me, or was you talking about my people when you were saying that? Because I don't want to get no wrong feelings or no bad feelings. I want to be sure. So this is why I'm coming to you. Or, you go to a female and said, well, I'm assuming that wasn't meant for me. Okay. Yeah. Am I right or am I wrong? Okay. Because inquiring minds want to know, because I'm not going to sit here, or I'm not going to spend any time around a person that I have to guess all the time whether or not they have bad intentions for me. So there is an aspect of making, I like to call them interpretive judgments, where it's still a type of assumption, but it's not passing judgment. So, it's like, well, I'm going to leave the door open. Now, you can't do this with everybody. Okay, but for the most part, some people you have to slam the door right away, whether you assume it or not. It's like, okay, I've heard enough, or I've seen enough, and I don't need to hear no more. I don't need to see no more. I'm done with that. But yeah, and also the flip side of making assumptions also is that sometimes you can miss something that's meant to, make you rise or lift you up. Because you can wrongly assume something when someone could say, "No, man, I did that because I wanted you to be able to, blah, 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 whatever you needed to do."
Right.
But you're assuming the wrong thing. So that kind of works both ways. But again, it goes back to these agreements that we have made that somehow we don't feel the need to change them, which most people need to change them, reconstruct the majority of agreements that they have made with themselves and the judge. Because the judge is not going to give you a break, that inner judge. And the reason they're not going to give you a break is because these judgments are tied to everything that we've been taught in school, by our parents, by other adults, and also from what we've learned through religion. So we got a lot going on. Okay, brother, the next picture I want to show is the picture where they're standing on this like a seesaw. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So here's the issue. Now, the fourth agreement is always do your best. And we got a couple of visuals we're going to use to kind of bring this point out. Is that your best will vary depending on circumstances, from day to day. But consistency or consistently trying your best helps you avoid regret and self-judgment. When you have given your best and you fall short of something. So the reason why you see this person in that elevated position here, and then you have you standing there, all clenched, your fists clenched, like, okay, how do you expect me to get up there? When, but we spend the majority of our time, again, through these agreements, feeling like if we're standing in this position here where the seesaw is down, then we're not making the same progress as the person that's up there at the top. Okay, so if you're not running in an uphill battle, then you feel like, okay, sometimes it's good to regress and stand back and look at things. Because I don't know, it looked like he has something in his hand saying, if you can make it up here, I'll give it to you. I don't know. Could be fentanyl or crack. It could be anything. But, you know, dude standing there like, okay. Or either another way I interpreted this is, and this is, again, something that they do to us when we do our best at something and they say that's not good enough. Okay, so you standing there with your fist clenched saying, well, how are you going to tell me it's not good enough when you have all the resources and you're, you know, and you've stolen everything and you're up here on that elevated portion of this seesaw, but yet you're looking down at me saying that I need to come to where you are in order for me to be successful. When in many cases, when your energy can bring people to you to help you with whatever it is that your purpose is, that's what it's all about. You know, many people spend the majority of their time running after things that other people say they're supposed to have or supposed to get. And so this causes you to feel inadequate. It makes you feel like you have a lack of self-worth. And it could also cause self-destruction, as we see in our culture. Because again, the standards and values that we live by have been set by people that don't look like you and me. And so the standards and values that those people set are based on unfair advantages. Okay. And those, like Malcolm said, if you're in a game and somebody's winning all the time, they're not better than you, they're cheating. Just from the laws of you know, probability, if somebody beating you 100% of the time and all things being equal in terms of skill level, and you ain't winning none, you're not winning anything? No. So it's some decks stacked against you. So this mindset right here that we see, okay, so again, we go back to the third agreement, where we're flipping the fact of not assuming. Again, it works in two different ways. So you're assuming that individual that has his hand out with God knows what is in it, in an elevated position, is in a better state in life than you are. Okay. But, you know, this assumption a lot of times kind of holds us back. Because rather than you focusing on yourself and your purpose and your goals, you got your eyes fixed on, you know, somebody else, all eyes on me. You got your eyes, ears, everything. That's one of the issues I have with our people, constantly, you know, being focused on what these folks do, because that takes away all of your attention. It takes, you know, you spend the majority of your day trying to come up and like it's people that if you don't use their particular methodology for what they say will get you a lot of fiat or make you successful, they take it personally like, okay, I can't control this individual, so either I'm going to put some stumbling blocks in their way. Because when you stand alone, and you know this, brother, I'm preaching to the choir, but when you stand alone, life ain't been no crystal stair. But you get the satisfaction of knowing that you have made these decisions. And I can live with the decisions that I make. But if I'm making decisions based on somebody else's standards and values, that don't work for me. Okay, I think the last picture is that picture of the when it shows the different variations of doing your best. Always do your best. Yeah, so you're not a machine. And as this graph shows, your best will look different each day. Sometimes it's down here, but that's your best for that day.
Right.
Sometimes it's up here, That's your best. And there are a lot of different factors: fatigue, lack of preparation. Sometimes, whatever it is you're competing against just may have a upper hand, and in whatever way it is. So there are a lot of different factors that cause this, and then you might have a day where you spike all the way up here, and that's your best. You're running off adrenaline. You're feeling good, and so this is a very important graph because people need to understand something and comprehend something. You cannot base what your best is off of the efforts of other people. Because other people, they live by this same graph. But you might see them when they're at the peak of their best. And then you judge yourself when you're down here on one of your bad days. You're still giving your best. I mean, you can literally give your best, okay, at something, and it doesn't yield, say, the energy that when you're up here it does.
That's right.
And again, that's for various reasons. We know that because of the law of polarity, or the third law of thermodynamics, you're going to have equal and opposite force coming at you, especially when you put positive energy out. There's going to be an equal and opposite force coming just as hard at you as the energy that you have put out. So at some point, you can't keep judging yourself by what other people do. And as a collective, this has been sort of like a thorn in our flesh, because no matter how we progress, we still always feel like we haven't achieved what other people who have had a 400-year head start on you, or 465-year head start on you. It's just amazing that you're even in the same ring.
Exactly. That alone is showing you.
That alone is showing you that, so the average Black man, woman, and child has to be 10 times better at something than the average one of them.
Yeah.
And so they know this too. So they stack the deck against you, but they know that at any time and point, you can reverse that, deck or not. You don't even have to have a deck of cards, and you still have an opportunity to win. And so that has got to be very troubling when you have tried everything in your power. Not try, you have done everything in your power to destroy, a people. I mean, literally destroy them in every aspect, physically, psychologically, and spiritually. And they still not just standing there thriving. I couldn't imagine the feeling that you have when they look. No wonder they're so angry when they look at us, because they know that they have done absolutely everything that is humanly possible to not only hold you back, but to degrade you while doing it. Okay, brother. So, when you look at the totality of the 4 agreements, and you put them all together, say like in one Dropbox, you see this persona kind of emerging, this butterfly persona emerging when you begin to master these 4 areas. Because now you're looking at a person who knows that they have the power to empower other people's lives through their words. They're not using their words to tear other people down. Because let me tell you, if you have that in your spirit where you have to tear other people down to build yourself up, then you're in bad shape. I don't care what you have, you're in bad shape. So when you reach the point that you can be impeccable with your word, okay, and use your word like because that's when your God and goddess or king and queen spirit emerges.
That's right.
You know, and I often say, you know, and I've heard you say this too, how can you call yourself a king and queen when you're acting like a serf and a peasant?
Exactly.
You know, you're saying, and well, it's a fact that we're the original people, but your birthright has been stolen. Okay. And that birthright is something that gives you dominion over the earth.
That's right.
But others have taken it. They're not going to be able to hold on to the belts for too much longer. We already see, you know, they're trying to, they want to, you know, cause little fires in other areas where they don't have to deal with us directly. Because now that black folks is coming with the heat, they're trying to get out the kitchen because they know we're not listening to this crap no more. Not only that, we're not falling for the okie doke no more. So we know, like we used to say back in the day, our word is bond. You know what I'm saying? So we know your word is not bond. We know that you've broken over 500 agreements with the indigenous people of this land.
Yeah.
So we know that your word is not bond. So that too is a big stumbling block for us. Because when you're in a fight to survive, a lot of times, you know, you have the mentality, okay, I got to go a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye. But it just depends on how you do that. If you're doing it the way they're doing it, that's not the right way. Because you can check somebody without ever using demeaning language. Okay. Because the other thing too is the unspoken word has power itself too. Because when a person doesn't know what you're thinking, that's a power that you have. It's when you tell them what you're thinking, and if they have bad intentions, then you know they're going to do everything they can to try to throw you off your game.
Yeah.
And you know we see this every day. The other thing too is not to take anything personally in terms of. So let's kind of broaden this with the diaspora in the sense that why is it that what other black folks do and say in other places, why does that affect you on such a level that it does? Because it don't affect me at all.
Right.
Because first of all, what you're saying is not true. That just tells me that you learn from ignorant folks, that they have taught you lies, and worse than that, you have an agreement with these lies. So again, when a person talks to me, I learn everything from them just talking.
Right.
So I keep my mouth shut. You know, and somebody said, Neil, well, what you feel about that? I don't know. You know, I have to think about that for a while. I'm not going to let you know what I'm thinking because your intentions may be wicked. And again, this is something that affects black people in a way it doesn't affect other people because we have a history of them not just using their words against us, but our actions against us.
Yes.
Okay, you make one mistake, then not only they're going to try to fry you, but you'll never be able to live that down as long as you live.
Exactly.
Now they have done more things than any other being on the planet for millennia. Okay. But you can point your finger at black folks and say, oh yeah, I told you they wasn't no good. Look what they're doing. Because that's what they're doing with our kids right now.
Yeah.
I've seen some posts where they're saying some awful things, man. And you know, you when you say don't take things personally, it's hard not to take it personally because they firing a lot of balls, man. they find some real heat at our people based on the actions of our children recently. But in terms of that, one of the things that I think will help us when we say don't take things personally, especially from other people from the diaspora, because trust and believe, when you walk in another person's shoes, that's when you're going to find out the truth.
That's right.
So I look at the source of information. I look at motivation, then I look at the source. Okay, all right. Well, you way over there, but you're telling me about me and mine here. Okay, let's see how that work out for you when you get here and these white folks look at you like they look at us. Then we can talk. Okay, but when you throwing lobbies at me from where you're at, that's fine. I don't take it personally, because I know that this is coming from an individual or individuals who have not walked in my shoes or our shoes.
That's right.
Whereas somebody like you got the ability to see both worlds there in Ghana and being raised here in New York City and other places you've lived.
Yes.
So you can look at both aspects of it. Now, I listen to somebody like you, but it's somebody that hasn't experienced what Black Americans and our ancestors have experienced. No, I can't listen to you. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want. I am sorry. I cannot listen to you. And all you got to do, that picture with our ancestors with the stripes on his back.
Yeah.
When you look at that picture and you understand what that picture means, then we can talk. But again, and then we move into, assuming. Now, a lot of people assume things about Black Americans that are incorrect. And a lot of it is based on the propaganda. We know who puts out the propaganda about us. But we're never going to unify if we continue to allow this age-old game to be played on us. Let's talk to each other. Let's stop assuming. Act like adults. Stop acting like children, like little girls and little boys, like you see them on the playground. Give me back my marbles. I'm taking my basketball. I'm going home.
Right.
You're an adult. You have a brain. You have a heart. You have a spirit. How can two or three walk in the same way, unless it's not your intention to walk in the same way, unless they agree on something? That's impossible. Yes. Oh my God, I get chills every time I look at that picture. And then, brother, I remember something that Fountain Hughes said. I had to stop looking at the slave narratives that day. He said, when you get like this, they don't necessarily let you heal, but they pour vinegar on it.
Yeah.
When you do something. Could you imagine that? What type of cruelty that it takes?
I know.
So somebody coming from another country or wherever the hell you're coming from, unless you can look at this picture and feel what I feel, you can't tell me nothing.
That's right.
And again, brother, just the thought, not just vinegar, it was something else. Oh, they would put out cigarettes. Bruh, they would put ashes. What do they used to call these? They would get ashes that are burning, like when wood burned down.
Yeah.
These people are cruel, man. Some of the stuff that like I said, we say all the time, we know why you don't want to put it in the history books, because they want white children to think they are these good Christians.
Right.
But I don't want to be a Christian if that's what it takes.
There you go.
If you can do this to a human being, let alone cutting out the fetus out of a baby's stomach with a whip, a pregnant woman, and stomping their head in the ground. If you can do this, then I don't have. So when I talk to my people in the diaspora and saying that you need to stop assuming, is that you need to talk more with Black people. That's the only way we're going to move forward, because they're always going to have this propaganda that keeps us divided. They're going to constantly put these uploads in. Man, that picture just made my skin crawl. There was something else they did, because I heard the ancestors who, his descendants, who are fighting to get this picture back from Harvard University. The other thing is, all around the globe, all of their museums have our stuff in it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have no museum, just like the British Museum, everything from Benin.
Yeah.
You would not have a, and then they want to get into something with the Nigerian government, because they're saying, well, we want our artifacts back. And so one of these idiots said, well, that would shut down the museum. So be it. Use your own artifacts.
That's right.
Know you don't have any, but create some. You create everything else. You create lies. Create something to put in your museum. Give us our stuff back.
They only go back so many thousands of years anyway. So what artifacts do they have?
Yeah, what artifacts do you have? Can you bring some to the table? Can we see? Now, in anything that they they procreated came from our knowledge and wisdom. So I just want to extend that olive branch out to the diasporas that, and then too, I'm thinking to myself, some of them have to be paid too with some of the stuff they're saying. They have to be paid like our coons here and coonises. They have to. I got a new word for them, coonettes. They have to be paid. I cannot imagine another Black person looking in the mirror and saying the things they say about us and being okay with that, knowing that the white people that gave them this information is just sitting back smiling. So I'll end the presentation today, brother.
Wow, what a presentation. I truly appreciate it, brother. You took us places. You helped to expand us as always.
Yes, sir.
It's a natural creator-given talent. That's why you're here, brother. And I thank you so much. And I just don't understand why the world gravitates toward everything that is other than the stuff that you share. That's like going to a high-end restaurant and going outside and digging out the garbage and eating in a dirty hubcap. It's just no comparison. It's just no comparison.
That's crazy. I guess people do that in their minds too. They, stay in the gutter in terms of how they feel and think about other people. But also, yeah, brother, hold on to the belts, man. Keep your content coming, because the other thing too is, and I'll close on this. Something my dad used to say is, in order for evil to prevail, good people have to do and say nothing.
Wow.
So if you're in this world, the other thing too is that their reward and punishment system is based on what we're talking about today. Because when you break one of these agreements, then you get punished for it. You get punished psychologically, sometimes physically. You certainly get punished for it economically. And a good example of this is how they use our young people in the music industry. As long as they're doing this demonic stuff and tearing down our people, they'll give them millions of dollars.
Of course, they're doing their bidding.
They're doing their bidding. They're out there with no. Again, it's hard for me to fathom this, so I'm just guessing that from their reactions. So you're trading your soul for these things that can burn up. And somebody can come and set a match to it, and it don't mean nothing. Throw some gasoline on it. But you're throwing away yourself, your being, for these things. And not only that, you're throwing away your brothers and sisters for this.
Yes.
And then once you get it, they make sure you don't hold on to it. They tear you down before the world. They shame you like they're doing Diddy, trying to do Jay-Z. And all. They do this with all of our celebrities that make it to the pinnacle of their Azul system. And they take it from them, and then they shame them before the world. But yet, this is something our people still aspire. I couldn't, if I had $1 for every time I turn on a device and see this garbage, I'd be a billionaire right now.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
So peace and love to you, brother, and the family.
Yes.
And I look forward to, I'll get back on our regular schedule on Mondays next week.
Yeah, not a problem, brother. I'm always flexible. I'm always here. I'm like a fireman, man. Whenever needed, I'm here.
Okay. All right. I ain't gonna call you Don King, but you keep the productions. You're not a shyster like him. But boy, he sure knew how to keep those productions going.
Yeah, he did. He knew how to get the butts of the seats. Is one thing.
Yeah, he did. He was very proficient at that. He was the best at that, brother. All right, my brother. Peace and love to you and the family. I'll talk to you guys again next week.
Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to it, brother.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.